Hello and welcome back to Newbreed Film Reviews, and we are on episode 54, and on this episode I'm going to do a solo review on the movie Creep. And I just came across this movie on Netflix. One of the other podcasts that I listened to actually recommended this movie. It's from last year. It's a 2015 movie. And it just came out. It's kind of like one of those found footage movies, and it's like a thriller, and it's basically just focusing on two guys with a handheld camera, and it's almost got that Blair Witch kind of feel to it. So the basic premise of the film is looking for work, Aaron comes across a cryptic online ad, $1,000 for a day of a filming service. Discretion is appreciated. Low on cash and full of, naivety, something like that. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Very naive. He decided to go with it. He drives out to a cabin, in a remote mountain town where he meets Joseph, which is played by Mark Duplass, his cinematic subject for the day. And Joseph is sincere about the project and seems heartfelt, so Aaron begins to film him. But as the day goes on, it becomes very clear that Joseph is not who he says to be and who his intentions are at all. So this kind of follows Creep, I guess, is really the best way to describe the film. If you look at Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 93%. I don't know if I would put it that high, but it was a good thriller. I mean, you personally have to like found footage films, and if you're not a fan of found footage films, then you will not be able to watch this more than 10 minutes, because that's just the way that the whole thing is. But I think they did an excellent job of actually portraying the sense of like uneasiness when you're watching the film. It escalates from the start of just the way that the camera will just sit there, and the camera will just sit there and you not be able to move the camera, and you're waiting to find out what's happening off camera, what's happening on camera. It's pretty good. And, I think they did a good job of doing that. And to be honest, the guy who played the main character, and I'm gonna look that up right now to see what else he's done. He did look familiar to me, so I had seen it pop up. But basically the film starts off with, he shows up at the cabin, he meets the guy. He's this weird, goofy, really odd character, that plays Joseph. And he basically describes the fact that he has cancer, and he wants to make a film for his son, that he can show him. So after he's dead, because he said he only has 2 to 3 months, that he would like to show it to him. So the guy agreed to it, Aaron, and he just kind of goes with the flow throughout this whole film, and stupidly it becomes his demise. So he follows the guy, and the first scene that they do, filming wise, is a really awkward one. He makes the guy go up there and films him in the bath, like playing in the bath with his supposed son, and he like gets naked in front of him on camera. This is like the first thing that the guy records, but the guy still goes with it. Not sure exactly why, but I guess he kind of just, okay, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do it. So it's kind of the untruthful factor is that this kid just kind of goes along with whatever this guy does. But Mark Duplass, which played the main Creep character, he did an excellent job. I really think that he should get accolades for this, because he makes you feel sad for him, because he's very manipulative in the film. But he also makes you feel so uneasy with him, like what is he going to do next and what is he capable of. And I think whoever did the casting for it did an amazing job. He is in a couple things that I haven't personally seen. I guess he's been in The League, The Lazarus Effect, which is a horror movie, and Safety Not Guaranteed, I guess, is his most prominent ones. But I can't say that I've seen him really in much of anything. I'm trying to scroll through his list right now to see if there's something that I recognized him from, which I don't. I think I've seen him on a couple different TV shows. But back to the actual film. So he takes him from doing that weird bath scene where he's like playing with his son and he's naked and like pretending that his son is getting his feet wet, and it's just really, really awkward, and it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the film. And then he goes around, and whenever he gets a chance, he scares the Aaron kid. You know, like they go out in the woods and he scares him, and then they go through the house and he scares him. So it kind of gives you that uneasiness, you know, like you know it's going to be coming, but it just kind of sets you up for the rest of it. And I think this is more like, you know, like a normal thriller wise. You know, you're waiting for the intensity to grow and stuff like that and your anticipation. But this is also, it's like a mental thriller because it like makes you think as you go along, like, where is this guy gonna take us? So, to say like spoilers, he goes in, there's this one scene where he describes something bad that he did. And he has like this weird kind of wolf mask, and he describes that it's this one scene. So the camera, he asked the guy to put the camera down. So he didn't want this included in his video. So Aaron, the camera guy, puts the camera down, and it's just black, solid black. And, what he describes during that, it's just a black scene with subtitles. But because of how messed up the story is and how creepy it is, that you actually sit there and have no problem with, watching a black screen with subtitles. He describes that his wife has like a bestiality obsession, and he found it like all over her computer, and they went away to the cabin, and what he did was, he tricked her with saying that he went to work for the weekend, so she was home alone, and he put on the mask, and he broke into the house, and he like tied her up and like had sex with her, like as wearing like a wolf mask because she had that weird fetish. And this is like, I don't know, maybe a half hour into the film, and you're like sitting there listening to the story and you're saying, okay, where's this guy gonna take us from here? I mean, where do you really go from there? So next time, immediately when he comes on scene, you know, after that, he ends up hiding the guy's keys on him, and, so that he has to stay, and the guy, tries to drug him to get away from him. But there's one complaint I have. Well, I mean, like I said, again, if you don't like found footage films, don't watch this, because that's completely the style it is. Blair Witch style. Grab the camera, run it around, they hand it back and forth to each other. But there's, the scene where he's in the house and he puts the mask on and he's like chasing him around the house. And then all of a sudden the camera, he like, is gonna attack him, you know, the Joseph character, and then it like just cuts. It cuts to like, oh, okay, yeah, I got out of the house and I got my car towed and, you know, I beat him up. But I think that they could have built the tension a lot more if they like stayed in that house and they stayed in that situation. You know, like he does this thing where he scares you and creeps you out, but then apologizes, and then you're sympathetic and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, he's a good guy. He's not really a bad guy. He's just weird and goofy. But he escalates in this craziness. And then so it goes from that scene to he finds out where he lives, and he sneaks in his house at night and like takes his hair and cuts his hair off and films him and leaves him discs with videos for him and stuff like that, and sends him like pictures that he took of him, and like a locket for him because he said he's his best friend, and it's just creepy the way, I mean, the movie has a fantastic title. Whoever came up with the title, kudos to you. So, the final scene in the movie, like I said, you know, I'm gonna be, actually ruining it for you, is he puts up a camera. The Aaron character wants to go meet with Joseph character one more time, and he puts a camera up, sets it up, and records it, and sets his phone to 911. So in case anything crazy happens, you know, he has a backup plan. to get out of there. And then the guy ends up putting the mask on and coming up and hacking him with an axe. And then it cuts to him at the end watching the video, and he takes the video of this Aaron filmmaker and he brings it to a closet, and he opens up the closet, and it's tons and tons and tons of videotapes of different people, and they all have their different names on there, like Aaron, and then there's like Paul and Peter, So it shows you right at the end of the movie that this guy's done it multiple times, and he's all done creepy, crazy videos with them all. So, the director is Patrick Bryce, which he actually is the filmmaker that's in the movie. And, he went to film school in California, and I think this is gonna get off the ground for him. He did some, let me see. He's just getting out of school, so he doesn't have much going on. Doesn't have much underneath his belt. But I think he's definitely getting a lot of notoriety and a lot of attention for this film. Because guess what? He just set up a camera, went out with a guy in the woods, and decided to film this. And, it turned out great. I mean, it's all over Netflix. It's, highly recommended along, several different forums and everything like that. I would check it out. I mean, it's a well done, found footage thriller. It's more psychologically based of, you're not like being scared because something's gonna attack you that much. It's more of you're watching this guy and you're behind the camera and you feel like you're that director and you feel like that you're that camera guy in the situation, and you don't know what this guy's capable of. But he keeps coming back. He keeps tricking you and saying like, no, he keeps reaping you back in and rolling you back in and saying, no, I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a bad guy. And you really start to think that he's not really a bad guy. You just think that he's lonely and he's creepy and stuff like that. But then in the end, he hacks him with an axe, and you see that he's done this many times before. Just kind of a cool movie. Weird movie. Not so much cool, that I'd recommend. It's on Netflix right now. It just hit the new releases. So, you can check it out. And the movie is, Creep. I wouldn't put it on one of the highest rated movies that I've ever seen before. And, I gotta be honest with you, I probably wouldn't sit through and watch it again. But if you're bored and you feel like checking it out and you feel like, feeling uneasy and watching a found footage film, then it's, right up your alley. So, thanks for hearing me out on this, and, we'll catch you guys on the next one.